Hi, I'm Charlotte with Freezer Meals 101, and today we're talking about how to freeze leftover wine. Now, I know the joke that I always get when I talk about freezing leftover wine is what's leftover wine, or whoever has leftovers of wine. And so if you're someone that can finish off the whole bottle, then you probably can skip this video and go watch one of our other freezer cooking videos. But if you find yourself sometimes having leftover wine, then you'll want to watch to grab some tips today. My husband and I aren't huge drinkers, so we do sometimes end up with leftover wine, either if we've had some people over for dinner and ended up with leftover wine that way. That's actually how we ended up with the leftover wine that I'm using today to show you. We had my brother-in-law and his wife over last weekend. We had such a fun night. We made homemade flatbread pizzas together and just had some music playing while we did that. And then later we played board games with them and with our kids. And it was just a super fun night. But we ended up having some leftover red wine. And I'm going to use that to show you what to do with those leftovers today. Also, sometimes if my husband and I have an at-home date night, he likes red wine and I like white. So if we do pull out wine for our date nights at home, then we always end up with leftovers of both red and white. So I'll just be talking to you today about what to do with those and how you can use them in your cooking later. So we're just going to take this bottle of red and the little bit that we have left over, we're going to pour it into an ice cube tray. Then we're going to take that ice cube tray and put it into the freezer. So super simple on step one. Now for step two, I got a little bit too eager to show you guys what to do next. And so my ice cubes were not fully frozen, as you can see. So this would have worked better if I had left them in there for a day or two before I'd gone on to step two. But do as I say and not as I do. So wait until your ice cubes are fully frozen, and then, or your wine cubes, I guess I should say. And then you're going to pop those into a freezer bag. So a medium-sized one works really well. Or, I mean, the only time you'd use large is like if you'd had a huge party, like a wedding or something, and you had many bottles that had bits left over in them. But anyway, so you're just gonna take like a medium-sized freezer bag, pop those into there, get the air out and seal that. And then you're gonna put that back in your freezer. So now that you have your little wine cubes, what are you gonna do with them? Well, wine is great to add depth of flavor into a variety of dishes. So for my red wine cubes, I will pop them into sauces, stews, and chilies. So you just take a cube or two or three, depending on like the size of what you're making and what you're making. It goes really well into red pasta sauces, into chilies, and even into beef stews. So that's how I use my red wine cubes. For my white wine cubes, I have this amazing yet simple recipe with shrimp that involves just the shrimp. Sometimes like the prawns, you use the jumbo prawns. Sometimes I'll do a bit of butter, but you can skip over the butter if you want, doesn't need it. And then you're gonna do Thai sweet chili sauce, the white wine cubes, or white wine if you don't have frozen wine cubes in your freezer, and some heavy cream. And it is unbelievable. I actually found this dish at a restaurant in the mountains and they told me how to make it. So I've been making it since. Forget what I call it, but anyway, really good. So Thai sweet chili sauce, your white wine, and some heavy cream. Cook that into the shrimp and it's done in just a few minutes. So other things that work well for white wine are going to be like, actually a lot of shrimp dishes work well with white wine. Seafood in general works well with white wine. And then some of your lighter pasta sauces, like those cream sauces, or anything that basically has white wine in the cooking instructions you can sub out your wine cubes for, and then you're saving money and you're also saving yourself a trip to the store to grab more wine. So really good thing there. We also have a pesto minestrone soup that uses white wine, and it's a freezer meal. So you could use your wine cubes and then freeze it and kind of get double use out of the wine that way. So we're just gonna drop a few frozen wine cubes into our chili. We're using red wine because that works best for the chili flavors. And what that does is create a really nice depth of flavor and just adds something that really makes your chili stand out. Anyway, that's just a really quick tutorial on how to use your leftover wine in your freezer cooking. I hope you found that helpful. Subscribe to us for more freezer cooking tips and recipes. Thank you for joining me today, guys, and happy cooking.